If you want to talk about famous tough guys in Hollywood, then Lee Marvin has a special spot in that category. But there's so much more about this actor than what you first see. You'd be surprised to know he did this when he won an Oscar. Find out the untold truth about Lee Marvin in today's video. Born on February 24th, 1924, as Lamont Waltman Marvin Jr. to World War I veteran Lamont Waltman Marvin and fashion designer Courtney Washington, young Marvin Jr. grew up in New York. As a kid, he played violin and didn't enjoy school because he had ADHD and dyslexia. Despite this, he grew up to become a fine young man. During his teenage years, he spent weekends hunting deer, wild turkeys, and bobwhite in the Everglades. Back in the 1930s, Marvin went to Manumit School and Peekskill Military Academy in New York. He was quite a handful during his teenage years because he got kicked out from a couple of schools for bad behavior, smoking, and fights. The last school was St. Leo College in Florida. When World War II broke out, Marvin joined the United States Marine Corps on August 2, 1942. His father, a Marine veteran, was against it. But boot camp gave young Marvin the discipline he needed. He served as a scout sniper in the 4th Marine Division and took part in battles on Eniwetok and Saipan. On June 18, 1944, Marvin was shot by machine gun fire that hit his sciatic nerve and got another shot in his foot by an enemy sniper. He was pulled out and spent almost a year in recovery. He was given a medical discharge along with the Purple Heart Medal, Presidential Unit Citation, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, American Campaign Medal, Combat Action Ribbon, and World War II Victory Medal. Marvin told interviewer Robert Ward, "It was the Marines who taught me how to act." After that, pretending to be rough wasn't so hard. Lee Marvin was known for his signature white hair and was the perfect example of an ice-cold tough guy. After the war, Marvin took a job as a plumber's assistant in Woodstock, New York. While working, he was called to replace an actor who had fallen sick during rehearsals. On that day, Marvin caught the acting bug and got a job at the company earning $7 weekly. He moved to Greenwich Village and signed up at the American Theater Wing. The GI Bill covered his acting lessons. In 1949, he made his stage debut in Billy Budd and landed a role in the 19th Hole of Europe. Lee Marvin made his film debut in the 1951 war comedy You're in the Navy Now, alongside Jack Warden and Charles Bronson. That same year, he had a role in Fred Zinnemann's film Teresa, where his military skills came in handy behind the scenes. Because of his military background, Lee Marvin often played men in uniform or authority roles. His early works include Diplomatic Courier, We're Not Married, The Duel at Silver Creek, and Hangman's Knot. He appeared in the Western Seminole and the Korean War film The Glory Brigade in 1953. The 1950s were the peak of his career. His performance as villain Vince Stone in the 1953 noir crime film The Big Heat was praised by the public. That same year, he starred opposite Marlon Brando in The Wild One, playing Chino, leader of the motorcycle gang called the Beatles. His role in the 1955 movie Violent Saturday was praised by critics. He co-starred with Frank Sinatra in Not as a Stranger. He got the lead role in the M Squad as tough Chicago cop Frank Ballinger. In the 1965 comedy western Cat Ballou, Marvin played 2 roles, Kid Shalene and the ruthless killer Tim Strawn. According to the American Film Institute's 2008 list, it was the 10th best western of all time. The film tells the story of Catherine Cat Ballou, who hires gunslinger Kid Shalene to protect her father's ranch and later get revenge for her father's murder. Lee Marvin took on dual roles of Kid Shalene and Tim Strawn. The Wolf City Development Corporation wanted to scare Frankie Ballou off his land, but Strawn killed him without remorse. Cat looked for Kid Shalene's help, who was a grizzled alcoholic and comedic character. Playing these opposite roles was a joy to watch. Later, it's revealed these 2 men are actually brothers. Shalene was able to face his demons and his brother. The movie became a box office hit and won awards. You wouldn't believe what Marvin did during his acceptance speech. He dedicated it to a horse, saying, "I think half of this belongs to a horse someplace out in the valley," which made the audience laugh. After Cat Ballou, Lee Marvin did the 1966 film The Professionals. He got the lead role of Major John Reisman in The Dirty Dozen, starring alongside Charles Bronson, Jim Brown, John Cassavetes, and Donald Sutherland. His Oscar win opened up more opportunities. In his 1967 project Point Blank, he played a hard-nosed criminal. His next project, Hell in the Pacific, was praised by film critics. By the 1970s, Lee Marvin starred in fewer bad guy roles. He did Western projects like Monty Walsh, Prime Cut, Pocket Money, Emperor of the North, and The Iceman Cometh. Marvin was particular about his friends and valued his privacy. He once said, "I can't stand myself. I don't even like my own company. I do most of my socializing with the working stiffs on the set. The stuntmen, gaffers, and prop men keep me straight." Lee Marvin had 2 marriages. His first was with Betty Ebeling in 1952. They lived together for 15 years before their split in 1967. The couple had 4 children: Christopher Lamont, Courtney Lee, Cynthia Louise, and Claudia Leslie. After his split, Marvin got into a relationship with actress Michelle Triola from 1965 to 1970. Triola legally changed her name to Marvin and asked for payments similar to alimony, which became the famous Palimony lawsuit. The court ordered him to pay $104,000 for rehabilitation, but denied her claim of half of the $4 million Marvin earned. It took another 2 years before the court found there wasn't even a contract, ending the case. Triola was later linked to actor Dick Van Dyke until her death in October 2009. Marvin's second marriage was to childhood sweetheart Pamela Feely in 1970. They remained married until his death in 1987. As Marvin got older, his star power faded. By the 1980s, his last big role was the sergeant in Samuel Fuller's 1980 war film, The Big Red One. His other projects like Death Hunt, Gorky Park, and Dog Day were less successful. In 1985, he played Major John Reisman again in The Dirty Dozen, The Next Mission. Lee Marvin struggled with alcoholism from his wartime service throughout his life. One famous story happened during filming of The Dirty Dozen when they couldn't find Marvin on set. The crew found him in a pub, all boozed up. An angry Bronson threatened to kill Marvin, but thankfully didn't. The actor died at age 63 from a heart attack on August 29, 1987. Marvin suffered an intestinal rupture that caused respiratory distress. Doctors gave him steroids to help his breathing, but he went into cardiac arrest. Months before, Marvin spent over 2 weeks in a hospital in December 1986. Despite his fame, Lee Marvin was prouder of his Marine Corps work. He was given full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery, with no mention of being an actor. His headstone read, Lee Marvin, PFC Marine Corps, World War II. Marvin once said about stardom, "They put your name on a star on Hollywood Boulevard, and you walk down and find a pile of dog poop on it. That tells the whole story, baby."